but I love him so much.
I know you do, but he's hurting you. It's time to let go.
She needed paramedics. She'd been assaulted.
Ooh, I don't think I'm okay.
Hey y'all, come on in. We are back. So we are back, and this is part 4. Thank you for watching part 3. In part 3, I talked about how, I can say it now, right? How I was so head over heels over my husband. I wanted him to stay, and I was willing to do whatever it took. I didn't care what he had did. I don't care who he had messed with. I don't care what drugs he was doing. I don't care about any of that. I wanted him to stay, and I was going to do whatever it took for him to stay. Don't get me wrong. I had my times. I had my times of crying. I had my times of pouting. I had my times of screaming. I had my times of begging God. I had my times of begging him. I had my times of telling him, if you're going to cheat, you can just leave. I did that once, right? I did that. And after that, I apologized. I brought him back in. I'm like, I can't tell my husband to leave, right? I can't tell my husband to leave. So I brought him back in. And that's the one and only time I had ever told him to leave. At that time, I was so fed up because I had all this proof that he was doing all these things, and he was telling me he was not doing it. And I was broken. I was insecure. I felt like I was stuck. So time goes on. I pray y'all go back and y'all watch part 1 all the way to this part. Okay, so time goes on, and I am getting deeper into this depressed place. I don't know what to do, right? This is my husband. I love him. If I let him go, somebody else gonna have him, and he was such a good man, right? And at these times, anytime his phone is down, I am checking it, and I am getting heartbroken by the minute. And sometimes I mention it, other times I cry about it, other times I pray about it, and I am just down in the dumps all the time. But somehow, God has given me this supernatural strength to get up on Sunday and to preach like it's nobody's business. And I am preaching with broken arms, and I'm preaching with bruised ribs, and I'm preaching with choke marks all on my neck, and I'm preaching covered up, and I'm preaching all these different things, y'all. And I am hurt. I'm hurt physically. I am hurt emotionally. I'm hurt mentally. I am hurt even spiritually. I feel like I'm just not in the place I should be with God. And the only thing that I had in the midst of these times is God. The only thing I had to cling on to in the midst of these times is God. And in the midst of this, not only am I being hurt by my husband, I'm not thinking it's abuse because I don't have a black eye. I don't have a bloody nose. I might have a broken such and such. I might have these bruises around my neck, but I don't have like nothing on my face. He wouldn't punch me in my face, you know. So I feel like it wasn't that bad. He's just in the midst of rage. He just doesn't really know how to control his anger. And then disrespect started to creep in, right? So it comes a time where when a person feels like they can't really control you or manipulate you, then they will begin to disrespect you, right? And that disrespect will, I don't know how to quite explain it, but that disrespect put me even lower, right? And in the midst of this disrespect, I've never really had a man just, unless he was like a man trying to fight me or having major issues with me, I've never had a relationship where a dude would just flat out call me all kind of B's or flat out call me out of my name or just like talk to me like that. My own parents didn't talk to me like that. And this would be like a below, y'all. I don't know what it is about words, but it began to like put me down in the dumps, right? I begin to feel like, you know, is that what I am? Like, and in the midst of this, I was in a very low place emotionally. And I just feel like, dang, I'm probably not worth it. You know, and emotionally, I begin to feel ugly. I begin to feel like maybe he do need somebody that's better for him than me. And I begin to be in this depressed state. And in this depressed state, my husband at that time, he would tell me, I just want you to be a nobody. I just want, when people see you, think of me. I don't want them to see you. I don't want you to be center of attention, any of that. And what brought on this conversation is that we will often go to other churches and I will be preaching. And in the midst of that, people will sit me in a certain area. And they will often sit my husband in the area too if he's with me. And people would just come up afterwards. I'll talk to people. You know, after you get through preaching, people want to meet you. They want to shake your hand. We would see people in public and they'd be like, oh, you Tiffany May? And we would start conversations. So, and I know a lot of people in the city, right? And whether that be from church, whether that be from childhood, I know a lot of different people. So often when people would see me and him, they would say, hey, Tiffany, you know, and they would greet him, but they would greet me first because they knew me. So that bothered him. And it bothered him very badly. And that's when he told me, I want you to be a nobody. I don't want people to see you and greet you. If somebody greets you, I need you to look at me and tell them to talk to me. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. If that bothers you, I can do that 100%. But then it came to the point of like, I don't want you to talk to people at all. If somebody talks to you, you walk away. And I'm like, but I'm a preacher, right? I can't, you want me to preach and leave immediately. Like, this is what my husband wants me to do. I'm not taking no time. And I began to just feel less of myself. I began to feel like, dang, like isolated. Again, I'm feeling like I can't tell nobody. I'm feeling like nobody will really understand. I'm just trying to do what my husband tells me to do. And I'm going to just be very, very transparent. So as time goes forward, these times begin to happen all the time. And a lot of times it happened for no reason at all. No reason at all. And I called my mother-in-law this time. I call her and I'm like, I think your son is bipolar, because I work in the mental health field, right? So I'm seeing all these different symptoms, and sometimes they happen when he's drunk, and I'm like, okay, I chop that up to the liquor. Sometimes they happen when he's doing whatever, so I chop that up to drugs and alcohol. But now it's starting to happen when he's completely sober, and I'm like, this is bipolar, right? This has to be a mental illness. So I call his mom and I'm talking to her, and I'm in a depressed state, right? So I don't have anybody else to talk to. I can't tell my people, because if they knew everything that was happening, they would be ready to fight him, whatever the case may be, because I'm getting abused. And I don't even feel like I'm getting abused, but I am. And I'm getting abused physically, verbally, emotionally, in every area. And even when it comes to preaching, he's criticizing that, and it's just, I feel low. So I call his mom, because I feel like this is going to save me. Like, she's going to be able to talk to him. She's going to be able to rescue me. I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to just tell her how I'm feeling, because I feel like she would understand, right? So I call her. I don't even have to tell her. She asked me, like, have he put his hands on you? And I didn't know how to say it, but I knew I had to tell her. So I'm like, yes, you know, and it was such a relief, but at the same time, I felt broken by saying that. And I said, yes, he has. And I said, I think that he's bipolar. And she said, well, I'm going to talk to him. He should be putting his hands on you. And she said, but he's not bipolar, Tiffany. He's schizophrenic. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me? You know, and I go back and I bring it to him. I'm like, are you schizophrenic? We can get you help. Okay, if you are schizophrenic, we can work through this. I work with people who are schizophrenic all the time. What I know, if they take medicine, they can be back to normal. His mom, she kind of makes everything clear to me, because she's like, the reason why he's acting like this is because when he first met you, he was on medication, and he probably doesn't have medication. So I'm like, okay, I get him medication. We back to the him that he used to be. This is going to all work out good. This is good news for me. I can handle this. This is my husband. This is to death do us part, for better or for worse. And he tells me I'm not schizophrenic. I've never been schizophrenic. The only reason why I had any type of medicine is because I needed to do whatever with the medicine, or I needed to get time out of the prison cell, or whatever the case. He was like, I've never been schizophrenic. That's a lie. My mom is lying. My hope kind of just diminishes, because I'm like, I think he really is schizophrenic, right? Because all the signs are there. He's changing like day and night. He does not remember what he does half of the time. When I show him things, like I'll show him bruises on me, he like, where'd you get that from? Right? He could be in a good state, and I'm like, he like, how'd that happen? I begin to lie to people. They're seeing me have these issues, and I'm telling them, you know, me and my husband was messing around, and that's how my arm got broke. Me and my husband was doing this, and that's how my leg got messed up. And me and my husband was doing this, and I'm lying. I'm lying to people, and I'm feeling horrible. I'm feeling convicted. I lied to people about these situations so much that I began to believe my own lie. Not only did I begin to believe the lie, but my husband at the time told the same story, and he began to believe the lie. And later on, all this will come out, and he'll tell the lie to me, right? I don't know if any of this makes sense. I'll tell him, you know, you guys stop putting your hands on me. Like, I'll get fed up, and I'll say that. He'll be like, when have I ever did that? Like, he'll be like, you broke that because we was messing around. And I'll be like, no, that's the story we told everybody. So we begin to believe the lies that we told, right? And again, he's in this zone of being this man of my dreams and then switching to being this very angry man, this violent man. And then he switches to this man who is very emotionally, and he cries and he loves God and he prays. So he's switching through all of these different emotions. And I'm just as crazy with him because I don't know how to handle it, because one moment he's good to me and he loves on me and he is the man that I want him to be. And the next moment he's angry and he doesn't know how to place his anger and he's punching and hitting and I'm hurt and I'm in a hospital. And then the next minute he's emotional, he's crying and he doesn't believe he did that, and he's calling himself a monster, and he just wants to, he just needs healing and he just needs help. So I'm going through all of these different emotions with him. And I am lost, y'all. I am still getting up by the grace of God, and I'm preaching on Sunday morning, but I am lost. I am in a marriage that I do not want to leave, and my husband is doing whatever he wants to do, and I do not know how to make him stay. I cannot beg him to stay, but sometimes the real him that I met at the beginning does come through and it's good to me. And then other times he's very violent and the abuse is there. And then other times he's sorry and he doesn't know how that happened. He does not even remember it. And he's accusing me of